You, yeah, you have been very impactful in my life. I mean, the time that we were working together, there's not one day that I stand on my hands that I don't think about you.
Oh, that's so cool to hear. I'm very happy to hear that. That's so cool.
So, and today I was like talking to Miguel. I better do an extra handstand today. So I was feeling it. Anyways, Miguel Sant'ana, welcome to the podcast. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Carl.
Of course, you just got back from Brazil. You had an amazing retreat. You're in Hong Kong right now. Uh,
Yes,
are you
yes.
are you exhausted or are you okay?
Actually, I'm surprisingly pretty good. I mean, it was a long flight. It was like 35 hours journey, like I just landed a night before. And I must say, I probably was so tired, a lot happened, the training back home, it's so overwhelming having, say goodbye to the family, say goodbye to the team. It's already hard enough because it's such a strong bond and that it's around like 8, some people say for like 10 days because we hang out all day together and we bond very strong, and then have to say bye, and then 2 days later have to say bye to the family, and then you get back to Hong Kong and everything happens so fast. That's a little bit overwhelmed, but I'm surprisingly feeling really good. Slept all night and I'm ready to have a chat and share as much as I can.
That's amazing. Well, I love it, Miguel. I appreciate you. And I was looking around, and you haven't been on a lot of podcasts.
Yeah, I mean, once in a while I do one or other, but not really. I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
it's good to sit down and talk actually, so I appreciate the opportunity to
Yeah,
share.
yeah. Well, I have a lot of questions, although I know some about you, and I've been under your tutelage. My first question and my first curiosity is, when I see somebody like you who clearly has dedicated an insane amount of time to working on one thing, different forms, different shapes, but standing on your hands. What is it that you have taken away from focusing so deliberately on handstands that translates into everything else in your life?
I mean, it's a challenge, This is a very unique challenge. I mean, for the outsiders, for the community that watch the practice, it seems to be, as you said, one thing. Yes, different shapes, so on, but it's not one thing. It's so many things because every day, every single day, the handstand feels different. That's due to injury, because you slept not so well, because you drink too much coffee, because you didn't eat well. So handstand, even after all these years, I mean, still I excited to train it because I don't know how it's going to feel today, especially after being injured for so long now these days. I always try to keep up the level. I mean, that's what keeps me on my toes, because I mean, I'm scared. I don't want to lose the level, and I still love the training. And it's just a challenge. It's just a daily challenge that so life does. Every day is a new day. Every day is a new challenge. You gotta just keep it up. You can't stop. You just gotta keep looking forward and just keep moving forward without looking back, and excited for the future every day. Try to keep up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, trying to keep up. And you just had a retreat with people at your, I guess it's a ranch, farm, family home.
It's my own home, like I was very fortunate enough to be able to build a dream home back in my parents' land, back in Brazil where I grew up, and it's heritage, from my grandfather, and then myself and my brother was able to build that beautiful place where I can today invite people from all over the world to come enjoy me, to see where I come from, how I grew up, and it's just, as I said, like it's something about that place that this is the second train I do there, is something special there, people bond stronger. It's friends for life. It feels like we make friends for life in there, you know, like somehow. I see the difference between that training to the other ones is, you know, on the retreat, people is more independent, you know, they do their own thing between classes, they eat their own food, they do, you know, back home, it's my mom's food, you don't need to worry about what you're gonna eat, what you're gonna do, and so on. So it's just so nice. And people appreciate when they see that, you know, like my mom and dad is has not financially conditioned to do anything really, you know. And when they there, I mean, people can see that everything is in there is because of their support, the student support, you know. And now I'm able to share with everyone as much as I am enjoying, they enjoying too. So it's a win-win, and it's just make it extra special, you know. Like it's just truly amazing. I still a little bit blown away, you know, the energy, the feedback from the attendance. So it's just I couldn't be thankful enough and grateful enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I can feel that from what you're sharing right now. And I just watched the video that you posted, the little recap,
Yeah.
um, on Instagram, and just that highlight reel alone makes you think, "Whoa, how do I get there?" That's a pretty sweet a week. And my
Really.
curiosity was, what are the conversations that are being had at the end of the day? You know, when you're sitting on the couch or around the table, or you finished a long day of practice and just being together. What are the conversations like?
The conversations like, oh, that's a good question actually. Man, interesting enough, we haven't even spoke so much about training. After training all day long, this group was, I mean, because everything was done for them, you know, like all we could wait for is like we train hard all day. In the end of the day, we had the little routine, you know, go for a swim, and then go have a shower, and then I started barbecue myself, and then eat, and you know, everyone go to bed early. It's like 9 o'clock, everyone's sleeping, you know, when we're not doing like a caipirinhas and playing pools and just hanging out. I mean, there is always a little bit of hand balancing conversation there, talking about different coaches, different ways of practice. We discuss, you know, a lot of students come from other coaches, so we discuss different ways to do things, different ways to say things, based on the same technique and stuff like that. You know, normal things in life. You know, what are you gonna do next, and what are you up to? What's your goals? And you know, that's the kind of thing that, I mean, it's mostly just enjoying ourselves, you know, and just enjoying the company. And I mean, we love the same thing. We all crazy in the same way, you know what I mean? Travel the other side of the world, you know, to meet in the random farm to to imbalance, you know.
Which is when you think about it that way, it's kind of funny, right? We're gonna
It just,
go across the world, and we're just gonna stand on our hands together in a room.
exactly. I mean, it's pretty crazy, but who
It's
knows
nutty.
knows, you know? Like, is I mean, like, oh, it's so far. It's far. It's like 35 hours for me to go there, you know. And so some people from Australia, people from all over, you know. But let's ask them. Let's ask everybody. Would I do that again and again and again? You know, like it's
Hmm.
crazy.
Yeah, yeah. I love how much you love, just from how you're expressing yourself, how much you love being on your family's land and being there in your home, and that is something that is important to you. How do you navigate that, being so far away all the time? Because you live far away. Hong Kong is
By the
far.
way, I mean, back then, Cal, you know, like as I said, my family is a very, very humble, you know, like even through that, I mean, home is home, you know what I mean? Home is home. Mom and dad is mom and dad. It is, you can't navigate, you never get used to it. It's just, it is what it is, you know, like I go home when I can, and I'm fortunate enough now I can bring people home and be able to hopefully go there more often, so I get to work, I get to share, and I still be able to spend some time with my parents. The parents not getting younger, you know, so, and every time it's so hard to say bye, you know, But at the same time, it's exciting too because I know I might go back, in 5 months, 6 month time. The more I do, the more I see them. So it's a win-win, but it never gets easy. It's very hard to navigate. I mean, I wasn't able to see my parents for like over 3 years, due to the pandemic. And Australia was pretty strong, and then Hong Kong was pretty tough. But I'm excited now to keep it up and hopefully to go there and spend as much time as I can. And we work as a team,
Mm-hmm.
because my parents help me cook, they help me do the laundry for the, like the bedding stuff. It's a teamwork, man. It's
Incredible.
pretty cool. I mean,
Yeah, it's like you've created a resort there, and it's almost like a family business. I'm
yeah, I
curious.
mean, yeah.
Yeah, growing up, were you close to your parents, or did you live a life as a kid where you were out just playing around most of the time and
Yeah,
independent?
no, yeah, very family boy. My mom and dad still together. I was home until I was 18 years old, and my childhood, like look after my brothers, and yeah, very much so, very much so, very mom and dad boy.
Are you the oldest?
I'm the oldest one. Yeah, I have another three brothers and a sister. Um, yeah, I'm the oldest one.
Okay, so you were like the practice child, and then the rest came.
Yes, I mean pretty much. Yeah, I mean my mom work at night shift all my life pretty much. So I'm the one that have to make sure my brothers all look after. Been cooking since a young age and all that kind of stuff that I still using today. Like from my mom and dad from child. Yeah, so
Hmm.
not easy, but I'm grateful for how it was because otherwise I wouldn't do things how I do today.
Yeah. Yeah, you have a style about you that is cool and sharp and
Uh,
pristine and refined. I like it.
I hope.
You have a style, and you keep that style clean. And it's not only in your handstands, but it's in the way that you do things and the way that you dress.
No, I
And
appreciate this.
I appreciate that. And I'm
Yeah.
curious, was that something that you had growing up, or was it more rough and tumble?
I mean, it gets sharp and sharp and gets clear as you get older. But I must say, since young age, I think, my mom is a very tough, she's in amount, four boys in the house, five with my dad, we're five trouble boys. So she's very hardworking. Um, Hey, standards are very high. She's very passionate about anything that she does. I think comes from there, My mom and dad never stop, so do I, and we love what we do, and we don't think about anything else, Do well, do with passion, and keep going, and don't give
Mhm.
up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big one. When you ever need advice, do you ever call your parents? And if so, what do you call them for? Like what is it that you seek from your parents?
What I seek from my parents, yeah, I mean, it's more. I call them for affirmation. Mom, should I do that? Yes or no? What do you think about? My parents are old school. They don't know I mean, they work in the same job all their life. They do the same thing all their life. It's not the most well educated, parents, but I'm sure they did their best they can. But these days it's more affirmation. Mom, should I? I'm moving to Hong Kong. What do you think about that? Like, yeah, son. If you think it's right, let's do it. It's more a support than advice, really.
Mhm.
Um, I call them for the support and affirmation. That's
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 beautiful.
probably the what I call them for. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to do something like that my parents don't agree with. Sometimes they will have their own opinion, of course, because we all have strong opinions back home. But I would not do something that they completely against with, if that makes
Mhm.
sense.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, and the reason I asked this is because when if we were to just look at you through the lens of Instagram and then the lens of who you are as a professional, I would say Miguel Sant'ana is a very disciplined, self-directed, independent man that is walking this planet and is killing it.
Oh, thank you, man. I try to keep true to my beliefs and my vision, and it's good to know that it's clear for you guys. So
Yeah, you have made that crystal clear, and which is I think is really cool and really honorable and beautiful. At the same time, it's awesome to hear that somebody of your caliber picks up the phone and says, "Hey mom, this. Hey dad, this." And if they say, "Yes, go," that fuels you a little bit or gives you this sense of alignment and connection.
definitely, 100%. I wouldn't make a big decision without, my parents, my wife, like I'm a very family, kind of person. So, and yeah, definitely. No
Mhm.
doubts. No doubts.
Okay, that's cool. Now, this is what I'm thinking. I'm imagining you in New Zealand doing landscaping there for 6 years, and then starting to practice some handstands and being just on the wall obsessed, just standing on your hands alone in your room, and then one day starting to teach because it paid you triple to teach than to be doing landscaping, and then all of a sudden becoming this handstand teacher. What does the call look like to your parents then? Hey mom, I'm going to stand on my hands
Man,
and
it's still up to today to anybody. Sometimes you have to avoid to say, "Hey, what do you do?" I'm a handstand teacher. Instead of that, you just go, "Oh, I'm a yoga teacher. I'm a fitness instructor." Because it's just the explanation can go so long, until they actually get the idea. But it's definitely more easier and straightforward these days because it's become so popular. It's still weird though. It's still weird, and just now they actually understand, after so many years. But still, I remember my mom saying like, "How long you gonna last? You're not gonna be young forever." You know what I mean?
yeah, but now you know.
Now we know. I mean, now we know. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how long it would last, but I still in love with the practice. I still in love with the teaching. I still so much looking forward to what next, and I wanted to keep up the stand and just get better and better and better and share as much as I can.
Well, you definitely share in a way that is inspiring and also in a way elusive, meaning, you wonder what is Miguel thinking? Like, how does he do things? And after having been your student, I can tell people that until you try it, you won't know what it's like.
Yeah, you gotta come. Yeah, I'm very much still trying to keep it this way, like come and have a look and experience because I'm all about the lifestyle too, the energy. I mean, I love teaching online. Yes, I do. And even for those one that you know yourself, like I still sharing really passion, but it's about the way, it's a way. It's a way to do things, a way to live the way it is. It's a lifestyle and that's what I will, what I can share the best. Come and let's be happy. It's not a bad day for practice. Let's go. Let's do it.
Hmm.
Eat
Yeah.
well and live for the practice pretty much.
Yeah, that definitely. You kind of channel designing your lifestyle. Your lifestyle appears through the handstand practice, which is beautiful. And I think, I mean, like I said, you're a full package,
Oh,
which is
okay.
really cool. And now just kind of shifting gears, another curiosity I have is the business of handstands. Like how, what does it mean to be a professional hand balancer or somebody who does handstands and teaches handstands? Like, what are the ingredients for that? Because you have to make money. What are the revenue streams? How do you manage that? How do you think about that?
Like since I started teaching handstand, coaching handstand 12 years ago, back then was definitely another thing. Was way harder to explain what is teaching. handstand is. I mean, I was. It's pretty much works like this for me. The more I give to the practice, the more I get from the practice. If that makes sense, like the more I train, I share, the more somehow I touch people's and I inspire people, you know, and that's how it always been. And I believe it's gonna keep that way, or at least until I know some different way. I still love my practice, so I still gonna keep practicing. And then from there, it's just the more you practice, the more you get people somehow. So I never thought about how I'm gonna do this, how I'm gonna do that. I just keep honest to my practice, loyal to my practice, and share. Because if you don't share, how people know what you're up to. And I still original to that. I still, you know, this is my practice. This is it. This is it. Even that's the same thing, but it's not the same thing because, as I said, injuries come, injuries goes, and life comes, life goes. I must say, yeah, it's definitely a shift. I must say, I'm very happy, with what I have done, what I have achieved, what I'm, up to. But it's definitely getting more popular. The demand's getting higher, but it gets more options these days. Lots of the students are teaching these days. Um, yeah, it's definitely a shift. After pandemic, it was a big shift. I never believed in the online coaching handstand, and then I loved it, and I still doing it, and I still yeah. I mean, this happy days. The more you do, the more you get for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you killed the online coaching. My experience with you was amazing, and I loved it. And I think about it, and I've actually modeled the way that you were working with me to work with people these days. So,
Oh, that's so
yeah.
good to see, man. That's so
Mm-hmm.
good. I mean, it's original. When you keep it original, you can inspire people. You keep it simple. It sometimes, Scout, I find, my teaching, the way I do things are so simple, and all I want to do is common sense with less complications possible. I don't want you to think something ahead that's unnecessary today. Oh, what about this? No, I want to worry about your hands before I worry about your elbow. Start from the ground up instead of the other way around. And I keep this philosophy: comprehensive, simple, clean to the eyes, happy. That's it. That's my way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very zen, and then you integrate into it, I guess, the Brazilian flavor. It's
You gotta
cool.
have, you gotta have
Yeah,
that,
you just
like
sprinkle it in.
I need to learn how to share to those people that flavor that hasn't experienced yet. I have a student, come from US. It was the first time he came to meet me in Brazil. He's an older guy, 52, and he's like, Miguel, you gotta share your humor in social media. And I'm like, man, I want to, but it's so hard, I keep it so original for those who come and experience that I hope I will find a way to start that. Things like this, sharing a little podcast, stuff like that. So I hope people are gonna get to see me more, not just a serious or all he cares about the straight handstand, the straight line. No, it's not just like that. I'm more than just straight lines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're not only passionate about it, but you're also very loving, and you are strict at the same time, and you create this really cool space to just do the handstand. It's kind of like, just do the handstand.
I mean, that's as you said, that's simple as that. That's all I do. That's all I know. That's what I will do until who knows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's cool. The first time I met you was in London. I don't know if you remember this, but we
Of
went and
course, I
grabbed.
remember. We
Yeah, we
went to a
grabbed some lunch.
coffee shop in Liverpool, around Liverpool. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
definitely. I'm a big fan for a long time, Carl. I'm telling you. That's why I'm a
Dude.
little bit like, wow, look at what we're talking about. This guy.
Yeah,
So
well,
it's really,
you're the
it's
man.
moving.
You're the man.
Yeah, but so do you.
Yeah. I just remember what when I met you, you were at somebody's apartment, or maybe it was your apartment. I can't remember, but you were teaching handstands there, and I walked in. And I got to watch a part of the session, and I was like, "Holy shit, this dude is the real deal!" Like you were just so good.
Just that little space, with soft mass and things all over the place. Ah, man, good day. I mean, it's not bad days for it, 'cause I'm not like, yeah, I love a luxury, beautiful resort to teach, a beautiful studio with sea view, but I do so love a little room like this. Or it doesn't matter, like handstand goes on no matter what, no
Hmm.
matter what, we can go from this to this, and this is great, this is great.
Yeah.
So you saw that, and still up to this day, it's still exactly the same.
That is so good. And then we went out for lunch, and during lunch we were talking about techniques and things like this, and gymnastics versus hand balancing, and I remember you got so excited. Okay, you were so excited talking about this. You stood up in the middle of the restaurant and you were showing me all these things, and I was like, I love this guy. This guy is the boss. Do you remember this?
I was so young. It was a long time ago, right? It was like
Yeah,
probably like 8, 9 years ago.
more
Crazy.
maybe.
I mean, feels like more. Yeah, something like that. Wow. Well, look at that. 9 years ago, I still was traveling the world teaching handstands, and yeah, it's pretty cool, man. It's really cool.
Super cool. Super cool. I love it. Anyways, so back to the business of handstands. Do you plan out your year ahead? Are you a pure artist that just lets things flow? Like how premeditated are you?
Yeah, I mean, back then, as when it comes to the business, like I always, I have a database of students that regularly, yes, the student come and go and comes in, and but yes, I try to plan ahead, like these days taking a lot more than just before, just just go a day workshop, 2 days workshop. Now we're talking a week workshop, the investment is bigger, the group is smaller, so it's more thinking to it today, definitely. We build a standard where it's so much behind the scenes to look after, like an easy train at home. You need three stuff. You need to know that one's gonna drop halfway through. Like it's so much behind that. I still learning, but definitely much better than before. Yeah, the plan is, I try to plan as much as I had, minimum 6 months, like a week training, at least 6 months. But when in Hong Kong, it's easier, because I've been here for 7 years now, so a lot of people know you have a database of people that you just private message themselves, and regulars that you just keep rolling the ball, and so it's much quicker and faster. But yeah, when it comes to training, definitely, I'm booking stuff to November next year, so yeah, definitely booking a lot ahead, because it's a lot to think. I wanted to give a proper experience, with it's experience, like a week training is not just, like a lot of people think, oh, it's intense, it's intense, it's intense, no, it's not intense. I want you to leave the training excited to go back home and train right away. Not, I don't want it to send you to a week of massage and physiotherapist because the train was so hard for you. If I believe these days, if the train is that hard, it's because the teacher didn't know how much you could give to the particular student. So I want you to be able to train the next day, and that's what happening, like I don't want to injure the student because I was mean. Yes, I want you to feel you that you train, because 3 5 hours training, That's what it does to the body. But yeah, it's definitely a lot of planning these days. A year ahead, 6 months ahead. The more is possible ahead, so we can give the student the best experience when it comes to training, teaching content, but also the full experience, the food, the accommodation, the best options possible, the transportation, and so on.
Yeah. And when you're in Hong Kong, do you rent a space or do you own a studio? What's the deal there?
Yeah, I mean, back then I used to work for a big company. I worked privately, just coaching the coaches and yoga teachers. It's a big, huge business here in Asia. And I used to travel around because they have, all over Asia. But these days, I just recently opened a new studio. It's just a little, I don't know if you've ever been to Hong Kong, small studio in space in central Hong Kong where I can fit maximum 6 people. Are just working privately, semi-privately mostly, and doing the travel once every 5 6 weeks. Um, yeah, it's definitely a little cute spot in central Hong Kong where I do my classes. Yeah,
How
I
cool.
hopefully I hope I'm having my first coach come to. I'm bringing a coach from overseas, which is a big deal. Like this is gonna be the first one who is gonna actually teach under my idea.
Wow.
I will be managing how things are done. So, you need a team, Kyle. Get in the stage that you do need a team. As I leave every 5 weeks, 6 weeks, I'm leaving for 2 3. I need the team. I have big plans ahead, and I'm excited to see what's gonna happen next and how much I will be. I will be giving a lot. Yeah, my focus is mainly make a better teachers these days, not only students, but as him balancing become a actually business. I think it's on. Yeah, I got something pretty cool.
That is very cool. Can I ask who it is? Who's coming
Pom
to
Pom. I
Oh.
don't know if you ever seen
Yeah, I've
Pom
seen
Pom is a
him.
student of mine. He's the full package. Yes, the different
Is
than
he
me.
from
Or
Malaysia or where's he
he's
from?
from Taiwan.
Taiwan.
Taipei. So he's been teaching handstand for a few years now, full time. He teaches as much as I do. He believed in my ideas since the time that he came to Australia 4 years ago. I mean, time's flying. 4 or 5 years ago, and he have come very far in the hand balance practice. He's just a perfect example of dedication works. The system work, and yeah, I'm super excited. Popon will come as soon as we're working through the visa stuff, and Hong Kong will have another high level teacher to provide him balance while I'm not here. While I'm here, hopefully he's gonna have his own student, and we're gonna share, and it's just gonna bring the standard high and high and higher.
That is really really fun to hear that that's happening. So as you're growing and the business is growing and you of course gain traction and more people are starting to learn about handstands not only as practitioners but also as teachers, what are you seeing in terms of the trends? Like, what are people gravitating towards the most? Is it doing handstands for the sake of um, being popular, meaning creating content that goes online? Is it handstands for the sake of making money? Is it handstands because they truly love handstands and they're just passionate about what handstands really teaches them? And I assume it's a mixed bag, but curious to hear what you're seeing just
I,
at the surface there.
I think it's a combination of all, like a lot. I mean, I don't know how you find, but a lot of people. I mean, it's something about the handstand that excites people. A lot of people actually, in my point of view, a lot go to yoga practice because they love the inversion, they love the handstand part, and they go to gymnastics because they love handstand. They love. I mean, it bridges so many. It's so many disciplines that have handstands, and And today, because it's becoming more popular handstand itself, it's just people like, why, like, I'm gonna go to a handstand class instead of, I want to do the full hour, not the 5 minutes, yeah. And then because it's being becoming more and more popular, people, advancing on their practice, and then from that they find the love for advanced practice, and they started, because today is a popular thing, it's becoming more and more, and they start teaching, and they love, and it's just growing, 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 growing. That's a lot more accessibility for any student to learn handstand. I mean, 7 years ago when I came to Hong Kong, no handstand here. Yes, there was in gymnastic and stuff, but it was not like a handstand classes. Now it's, I mean, 80% of my student here is teaching handstand classes. And it's very popular. So, and I'm seeing around the world too. A lot, like handstand retreat. You see one popping up every day on my social media. Like, and here I am remembering my first handstand retreat. 10 years ago. Yeah. So yeah, it's growing, man. It's growing all the way.
That's
And
pretty wild.
yeah, it's everything in one. It's everything because they love, because there is a particular option for it today. There is a lot of people wanting to learn today. That's it. It's a whole package in one. They don't, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's cool. If we were to take a look behind the scenes of your business and your practice, um, where is it most popular at the moment? Is it in Hong Kong where you are? Is it where is handstands, like what's the mecca of handstands?
Oh wow, that's
Brazil, maybe.
uh, that's that's not Brazil really.
Right.
It's
Only when you're
Brazil
there.
always, I bring the people to Brazil. I mean, I can't say much here because I can't say Hong Kong because I'm here and I've been building a community, my own community here for since 2016. And the places, I think everywhere is growing, man. Europe is being like, you see so many teachers now fully, selling out workshops and, gathering with 15 people upside down handstanding, free handstanding. I think maybe everywhere, everywhere. I mean, for me, clearly to see is here because um, I'm here, and I'm seeing live. But when it comes to social media, I think is Europe's doing pretty well. It's just everywhere.
Yeah, that's cool. That's incredibly cool to hear that handstands are becoming so popular that people are seeking it out, like a yoga class, for example,
Mm.
which which is interesting because I would imagine that there are people like, let's just name it, movement culture would say focusing on one thing is probably detrimental to your movement capacity, to your fitness, etc. What do you say to that?
Uh, yeah, I mean, I'm a such one thing, it's very hard for me to think that I'm kind of, I like to be good in one thing, I focus on one thing at a time. I mean, I don't know. Let's see. When cross that bridge, I will have a better idea what to say about it. But for me, it's a little bit overwhelming. Like I need to be good in this and this. It's so overwhelming for my head that you need to. It's so much involved. The gymnastic ring, the movement part, the capoeira part, the dancing part, the juggling part. It's so, for me it's a little bit overwhelming, for me, because handstand already is so much. Handstand is not just handstand is the flexibility work, is the rehab work, is the strength work, is the maintenance work, is the resting work, is, can you imagine everything else, like I'm a kind of person that I want to do and I want to do now. So I think that's why I don't go so far out myself. And I don't even think, like I don't think out. My things you've been asking all this kind, I just I mean, what you see is what you get. You know what this guy do, what this guy know. That's it. You know, if you ask me what do you think about the basketball, what do you think about a movement guy, a gymnastic guy? It's so hard to say because man, I don't have, you know, like my focus is so into imbalance, into train, to teach, family, that I mean I can't speak so loud about the movement culture, the movement, whatever
Or
it is, you know.
CrossFit or any other fitness
In
practice that,
anything, it can be a
yeah,
football, you know, a rugby, or it can be a running stuff. I mean, when I think about it, yeah, I mean, the less is better for me. Less is more for me. That's all I can say. You know, if you want to be good something, you just go for it. You know, when it's so much, and there's a lot of people like, oh, they like to be general. So, and I mean, good on them. You know, keep them busy. You know, it's definitely because there's so much, you know, involved in the movement practice. So, yeah, that's what I think
hmm
about it.
I love it. And that's something I love so much about you is that um, a lot of people like when people are well thought out, meaning that they have all these points they can make, all these frameworks. They seem to have a lot of like verbal knowledge. And what I learned from you is that you don't only have verbal knowledge, but you have this intuition about how to do things that doesn't require you to say much for things to happen.
Yeah, yeah, I find that way too. I teach a lot through intuition, you know, what is right today is not what's right tomorrow. For me, you know, like it's how I feel right now, is what I feel, where your weight is in your hands, for example. Oh, today I ask you to press, but next week I ask you to relax. And is my life is intuition. My life is what my energy tells me what is right for today, you know, and that's my business model. That's how I run things. I'm not thinking about, yes, I'm thinking about host a training a year time, but what I'm going to do in the training itself is very organic, because I will get there and I will get the feeling of the intuition, what is right for the person at the moment. And it's going to be very clear by the end of the training, or the end of the day, what was the goal for that particular thing. Intuition, that's a good word to
Mm-hmm.
put in how I do things and how I
Yeah,
believe in things.
yeah, very
It's what my
intuitive.
gut says, what my guts, you know, a lot of people don't have the awareness, but you know, like, oh, how they feel, what's right, what's not. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, catching that feeling is a big one, and I appreciate it because I think, I mean, just going through the pandemic, we were all just nuts in our heads. And now we're on the other side. And my hope was that we were going to become a little bit more emotionally intelligent. But I feel like we became a little bit more emotionally dumb. Uh, it's
It's
almost like
overwhelming today.
it
I
was
think it's
overwhelming.
becoming overwhelming no matter what you want to do. It's overwhelming, man. It's flat to it. It's too much of too much, if that makes sense. You know, after, especially after the pandemic, everything's on the screen today. If you want to get something, you need to give. You know, and because if everyone has this mentality of I need to give, I need to give, I need to give, I need to give, it becomes that way. What is right? It's not. Nothing is right. Nothing is right. You know, no matter what you want to do today, you just go on YouTube, you find millions of things of the same thing, and that's how you say. You know, we become a little bit dumb on it because it's just too much of one thing, and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm curious now, shifting gears into more of the like intuition, emotional state of being. When you practice or when you teach or you just go through life, of course, like everybody, you probably have ups and downs. When you are in a little bit of down, let's say it's been through an injury or um, through maybe a moment where you're unsure of what the next decision is. what's the procedure for you? What do you do? Do you say, I'm gonna just take some time off?
I'm going through that now, actually, to be honest. I'm going through that now. Um, I have to be honest with you, Gal. I definitely see a big shift in the handstand teaching industry because it's fluctuated, like it's a lot of a lot. And, and injuries as well. It's a big shift. It's definitely a shift happening in the handstand industry. In my training, the standard, I guess I built a such a high standard that today I'm struggling to keep up that due to injuries and due to overworking, perhaps. I just, as I said before, I just try to just keep it going, man. Like if I'm having a hard time with my shoulder injuries, for example, some days it's more painful than the other. Some days it's more painful than the others. I try to just breathe in, breathe out, and believe that's gonna be okay. I still, you know, uh, practicing no matter what. Or if it is, of course, some days my shoulder's so bad that I just have to practice my left side. I just keep going around. It's just, I just hope I don't have to go too far around. And that's my goal. It's just the shortest ways possible. Um, I must say is, yeah, I'm changing. It's changing for sure. I'm adapting. I'm trying to accept the way it is, and I'm trying to keep my heart believing and not shift my belief just because of what's happening. You know, I like to go with the trend. Yes, I do like to go with the trend, but in the end of the day, you need to believe. Go strong in your beliefs more than anything else, and that's what I'm trying to do. As I said before, I give to my practice. I give to that. I show that, and hopefully I will give back. I will get back. That's what I believe. Like, yeah, my shoulder still. I don't have to prove anything to anybody. I guess no more. So even that my level is dropping, obviously I'm not getting any younger. I still give, and I'm humble about it. Like, hi, honestly, yes, I could do this trick, and maybe I cannot perform as well so much today. But you know what? Here I am, and I'm trying, and I will keep trying. Even that's frustrating. Okay, I cannot do 5 minute handstand today. I will do 4:59. Okay, no, 4:30 or 4 or 2 or 3. But I will be trying to keep that stand as close as possible, to that. So yeah, I mean, just trying to keep up, just
Mm-hmm.
and not stopping, not giving up. Intuition, giving, 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 and keep up. And that's what I'm gonna keep going, no matter what the trend is. Like, people come and people go, and my philosophy is like, I will be in no matter what, until I guess, while I still love and doing handstand myself, it will be business, because my heart is too strong to fit in my own hat, my own body. So I need to keep sharing there.
Yeah. And I think this is something that I've experienced, and see if this rings true for you, is that for many years I thought what I did was me. I thought that the way that I trained, the way that I worked, that was me, and that was my. I had to stick to that if I didn't have that, I was not who I was supposed to be, and then I was less, and I got into this place where I was in a rat chase, just like, I gotta go, gotta do the thing. And I just remember just being injuries. Back was hurting, neck was hurting, shoulder was hurting. I couldn't see. I was dizzy. Just
So you
everything.
just step back. You just give a little step back, right?
Yeah, I decided to shift gears. I maybe shifted gears too much, and there was some family things that happened, and
Yeah, I
just
remember.
life events that just kind of threw me off completely. But there, when time goes by, if you just keep on keeping like you're doing right now, you get to a point where you realize, oh wow, I don't have to do one more handstand for the rest of my life because I'm not my handstand. I'm this
Mhm.
other thing. And this other thing, when that thing is alive, that essence, that me is alive, and I'm feeling good about it, uh, I produce work that uh, is the handstand itself,
Yep.
and that is to me just it sounds very meta, but it's a very powerful thing because what it tells you is even if you didn't have to do another handstand for the rest of your life because you're already proven, you will continue to do handstands because that's how you express your truest self.
Yes, I believe so. As you said, you have things in life that happens that push you back a little bit, but as you said, still me. It's still I still think of it. I still go around it. Handstand doesn't. My own practice doesn't come first anymore because of getting old. You have family to look after, but it's still a huge part of my and I'm not chasing the big movements. I'm not, like I just living in hand balancing these days more than, oh, I need to achieve this, I need to achieve that, I need to kill myself this. I'm listening my body more today. Definitely, I'm taking a step back. Still, it's still, and I'm enjoying. I have to say, it's hard to accept. Yes, that you see your level dropping or stuff like that, but man, I'm happy. Oh, my focus is more make you happy, make you achieve your handstand goals, and it's so exciting for the students still. And man, that's it. It's not that much pressure. Like it's nothing to look up for really when it comes to achieve a goal or do this when it comes to my own practice. But as I said, it's a lifestyle, Carl. Every day is
Mm-hmm.
different. Every day I still searching for how I feel every day, where the weight is. I still studying my practice. I still study my student practice, even that they don't know what I'm doing, but actually I'm studying how they feeling, what is on and what is not. That is what keeps me going. Like that's the truly what keeps me going. That's a challenge itself for me and every single student that I have to, like each one is unique on your own way. And it doesn't matter, Cal, like people probably have an idea that I just teach one armors, advanced people. No, it's the other way around. I'm actually coach most people that never done a handstand and they trying to do it now at older age, 45, 50s. I'm happy the way it's going. I will keep true to my practice, to my teaching, to my vision. Not pressure, just trying to keep up, not passing that limit that you just mentioned, events in life that make you shift gear. When I comes through to make the different decisions and different path, I will do it. But in the meantime, still the same that young guy that was in London teaching that small room.
I love it. It's super cool. And you know what's cool too is something that it kind of went unsaid today, but you as somebody who has been mostly self-taught when it comes to handstands is I believe this that one becomes a student the day they learn to teach.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, teaching, I don't know what you thought about teaching or what about self-taught, I probably would like to share a little bit on that. When it comes to self-taught, man, I didn't do anything myself, Kyle. I gotta be clear on that. Like my self-taught idea is, I look on YouTube. That's where my source of inspiration was. I look to inspire people or the people that inspire me the most. I see how they do things and I look so many times that becomes I study their body and I want to duplicate that. It's simply that, I didn't just come up with what I did today, but how I do and how I want you to do, that's my stuff for sure. That's my heart in it. But self-taught is like, yeah, of course I took exercise and progressions and I made my own. That's my self-taught. I mean, I didn't have coach, one, because I couldn't afford. Two, there was nobody in New Zealand that actually coached handstand itself. Yeah, they have the gymnastics stuff, but not that I went to coaching classes. Um, yeah, I mean that's my idea on it.
Yeah. Yeah, so maybe the word is instead of self-taught, it's self-directed.
Self-directed. Yeah, I self-direct myself. Like today is a lot of people saying, "Oh, this is my stuff." That's you need to give me credit for that. No, learn and take your ideas and on it and make your own. And that's how it is. Can you afford it to go to a teacher? 100% recommend it. But there wasn't my options back in the day. So
Mm-hmm. It is interesting with movement, just human movement. Like, for example, when I see your handstand line, I'm like, how do I get his lower back? Like I want to be you, but it's impossible for me to become good at my handstand if I try to be like you.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, everybody's different. The hollow
But there is a
handstand,
way, right? There is
the
a
the
way,
hollow
like
definitely is a way. I believe anyone. I mean, most people can do. Yes, it's a particular way to train, to teach, to achieve that. As like I have lots of students that achieve the hollow handstand, and every day I'm learning how to teach and how to make the body look that way. But it's not something that came. I have to say something that came naturally ish. I was inspired by Yuval Ayalon has this straight handstand line that he took in the backstage of La Rev, 12 years ago, that I was so inspired by how straight his body looks. He had very slim ribs and, the butt, everything was like a ruler. And I guess I was so obsessed on that I want to be straight like that. As I said, I take inspiration, I look the inspiration, people how they do, and I want to duplicate that. I guess I overlooked. I think I overlook and I pull your ribs in, push, 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 pull the ribs in, and it becomes true pull. I'm not sure if I ever seen a hollow handstand back in the day like that, but that's what was my main and how I did it. I just probably overdid it and I didn't know, and then it becomes that hollow handstand. A lot of people talk about today, like, oh, I want your line, I want your line. Okay, yeah, I can share with you, but doesn't mean it's gonna happen. You're probably gonna leave me before you achieve it, but this is the way, this is how we train. Yeah, I mean, that's a good thing that people know me by, and I still learning how to share to make people like for example yourself, even if it's like, oh, I cannot achieve that because my body is not like that. I had to say, Gali, is possible, man. It's possible. The way it's the teaching way. I think will help you achieve that. I'm not saying it's gonna take a year or
all
take
right.
6 months, but it's possible. I'm a
Yeah,
half believer. It's possible to hollow.
yeah. I do believe in this idea of choosing your teacher and following that one teacher for a long time. I think somebody should just sign up with you and be with you for 10 years.
Is this a question? If anyone ever done for me for 10 years?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm just saying that I think people should be with you for 10 years
Yes.
and then they'll get it.
I think so too. I mean, we started it after that. I mean, I'm a hard believer on that too. The less teacher, the more the less overwhelming will be and the more clear will be. But it's very, I have to say, it's very hard today when it's so much option and it's when it's so much, content on social media. But yeah, I'm a hard believer that yes, one teacher is better than 10 teachers, especially if it's one, a lot today is one discipline and 10 teachers. Like imbalance is just imbalance, like, yeah, I mean, I definitely believe that I have content to share with the student for 10 years plus. Yeah,
There's no doubt about that. I mean, just from the time that you and I spent together, I realized, oh man,
we didn't
the stuff
scratch at the
that
surface, right?
we didn't even get started.
But
Like,
but I was strong enough. It wasn't
it
strong
was
enough.
amazing.
Look at us talking about. We did achieve the one arm handstand.
We did, and I still have it on both arms.
Yeah, look at this. It's something for life, guys. Like even that. Sometimes I have no expectation how long I will be with the student, right? But we done our job. We done the job. When you say, Miguel, I have you in my head every single handstand, goddamn it. So this is the biggest achievement of I could ask for. Yes, I would like to have you my side, and we keep going and see how far we go. No, I would like to have those 10 years with you or with any other student. But if they come, they do a one class or two or 10 or 20 or 100 or 1,000, and in 10 years time they're like, man, I still remember, I still have you on the back of my mind when I practice handstand. I mean, that's the biggest present I could ask for. That's literally the best thing I could ask for.
It's amazing. It's amazing. I mean, I feel it in my hands, and I think about my hands. I think about my shoulders. I think about my head position. I think about my hips. I think about my legs. Every single little bit is like I have you speaking to
Oh,
me.
that's so good.
So
Yeah.
yes, you live with me for the rest of my life. You're part of
It's so good. I mean,
yeah.
we done it so, like these days, as you see, the teaching getting better, getting more precise and more clear. If you go back into our programs, you can clearly see, as you said, you using things of our training, our class into your own classes. So it's so comprehensive and it's so clear that it's just, yeah, it's just so good, man. It's just, I don't know how I create that, how I make that, how I do that. But as I said, the intuition is right. And it's proven over and over and over and again. And it's good to sit down and talk about sometimes and put things, inspire me. Like even this morning, you like, Miguel, when do you feel that you don't know what to do? Your practice is not as good, the work is not as good, the business is not as good. What do you do? I don't know. God sent me you, to fuck get in my toes and go and do what I love. And yeah, it's super cool, man. It's super, super, super cool. And I couldn't be happy to speak to you today.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I do believe that our students are also a mirror and a reflection of us. And I'm curious for you, even, I consider myself your student, even though I don't train
Oh,
with
I
you.
appreciate it.
But I'm curious, what have your students mirrored for you and helped you see in yourself that feels like a gift or like a superpower or something
I
that
mean, what you
you're
just
thankful
said,
for?
just what you just said. If I'm within the student, I believe I'm people's teacher until they do a handstand and they have zero thought about what they experience with me along the way. If that makes sense,
Mm-hmm.
you know, um, like I'm not gonna call you out. Hey, you should not tell you my students when you not, like no, no. As far as they have the thought about me when they practice handstand. I mean, that's it. That's all you know. Um, I mean, that's my biggest thing. That's 100%.
Yeah. You know what's also cool and interesting is that if I ever talk about a handstand, although I know that it's heavily influenced by you, it's so integrated in me that I believe it comes from me.
I mean, it's good. I mean, like, you're gonna share what you know and what you experience.
Yeah.
Of course it is. Of course it's yours. You lived there. Even that was through my guidance. I could not do myself. You know, I just a little guide. I'm the driver, and you the actually. I mean, of course you deserve to do, and you earn that. So I mean, I couldn't do without you. You know, like,
Hmm.
and it's definitely I absolutely with you on that.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Well, Miguel, last kind of question here. What do you spend most of your time thinking about when you're not thinking about handstands? And if it's not thinking, doing.
Um, I mean, today, let's say about today, for example, as I mentioned, things are changing and things are shifting. Even when I'm not thinking, if I'm not thinking of my own practice, I'm actually thinking how I'm going to share, what's going to be the business model, how I'm going to present particular idea that I want to present. So I'm very much into filming making these days. So when I'm not thinking about handstand, I'm thinking about how I'm going to present someone handstanding, if that makes sense. Um, yeah, I want to showcase the students how to work. I want to create art, with the filmmaking through my teaching, displaying students that working hard for to achieve that. Exploring the video making industry more, studying there, learning there, and just trying to see where the business is going. How I'm gonna go to this, adapt as much as I can to the new trend and not still keep original to my beliefs. So that's what I think the most. I have family today. I have my wife to think about. I have my family, back home. I have the house to. I mean, I'm here, but I'm the one that have to look up, after the house back home. It's like all these things, like I want to have kids, build a family, and yeah, this is things that I think about.
That's cool. That's cool. Miguel, I appreciate you very much, and I'm glad we got to share this time just talking on the podcast. And I'm glad we were able to go for an hour and 8 minutes and barely talk about one single handstand topic.
Yeah, I mean, it's always so good. I will appreciate you get in touch to have a little chat in your podcast. You doing such amazing job. As I said before, you all inspire me, and it's someone that I look for. And I couldn't be proud of myself, yourself. To we spend so much time together, and when we talk and we get together, it's always so inspiring, so motivating. That boost me up. You make my day, or make my week.
Oh,
So
wow.
I couldn't be happier, Kyle. And yeah, man, you're doing great, and it's so good to see. Even that you're shifting, constantly shifting. I'm with you all the way, buddy. No matter, because so you are a hard believer. You go with your guts, and I appreciate that, and it's very good to see. And I'm forever your supporter, buddy.
Wow. Well, thank you, Miguel. I appreciate it. When is your next retreat? What should people know? How can they learn from you and become
Oh, that's
students?
cool.
Yeah.
Okay, how they can learn from me? They can learn from me online anytime. All the classes available is displaying on my website. If you can't wait for a retreat, for example, you just can fly to Hong Kong and just come in person. and do some private classes or group classes or whatever is available here. Retreats, I have one coming up November, so in 5 weeks in WA, Australia. So I'm going to a farm of a good friend of my farms again. It's like a ranch, you know. So I'm excited for that. It's going to be very homey. We're going to have all the, all the essentials, good food, good sauna, good cold plunge, and that kind of stuff. Good training, good people. Um, I have to say, as when it comes to the what next, I have this course that I've been working together with Glenn Cordoza, which is available now. I haven't actually spoke too much about it in my social media yet, but it's out, available to buy already. Is a handstand math that will become certification in the near future, where you can just get it, and then everything I know is right there. It's 3 levels. That's only the first level, which is probably the biggest one, where I go through all the theory behind the handstand I teach, all the progressions, the accessory work, flexibility warm up, wrist work, all the stuff I do and I teach on a regular basis. 75 handstand progressions. This is the Bible of a handstand teacher right there. Everything you need to know to become more confident and have a better handstand teacher. And a student as well, It's very comprehensive. I mean, myself and Glenn Cardoso has been working together for 3 years to put this together. And soon enough, hopefully the book will come out. And yeah, that's something that you should to have a look. I probably spoke with you about like
Yep.
years ago, like, oh, we're gonna do this book. I remember I asked you about,
Mm-hmm.
because I know you have this amazing freestyle book. So I asked you a few years ago, but yeah, so it's closer than 3 years ago. The first thing, the certification, the online, is a lifetime assess where you can hopefully one day apply for a credential. So get in touch. Is a lots of retreats coming up next year. There will be Brazil at least once next year as well, and many more to come.
I love it. Well, we'll link all those things in the description so people can access that. And Miguel, anybody who gets to work with you is a lucky individual, and I wish you nothing but the best going forward. And I'm here to support you as well in any way that I can. So thank
So
you
do I,
for being
buddy.
here.
Thank you so much. It's been great.
Amazing.
This is the freestyle way.